Test 1 2. Test 1 2. G'day viewers. There's a patch update for Train Sim World 6. Hope you've got your cuppers. I certainly do. Our second Train Sim World 6 patch is now live. This update focuses on some of the higher reported community issues that were raised to us over the initial TSW6 launch period, including fixes for Riviera Line's missing water textures, braking issues on the Class 220, and tweaks made to train faults. As always, we appreciate your feedback on the dedicated threads in the forums or in our feedback section on Discord. We will continue to monitor these spaces and raise issues with our dev team. We'll also be focusing on improvements for previous TSW add-ons in future, such as the long-awaited Class 158 timetable for 5 Circle and adding announcements, and the Voyager to Manchester Airport commuter, both of which were covered in the roadmap stream. I will be putting out a roadmap video as well shortly. As usual, I read these articles to improve the accessibility of the information for those who can't or won't go and read it, particularly on the Dovetail forums. This one is released by Harry. The core changes are added PZB to German temporary speed restrictions, added AWS to UK temporary speed restrictions. It's interesting that those were added because I'm pretty sure they were actually in the preview that we played at the Ambassador event, but must have not been working or something and been pulled back, which I actually appreciate, to be honest with you. Losing a bit of functionality that's not working properly is much better than having that functionality, like the Class 220 brakes. Improved temporary speed restrictions so they no longer appear on stations and junctions. Fixed an issue causing train faults to occur despite being switched off in the settings menu. That's a fun one. Fixed an issue causing temporary speed restrictions to appear backwards. Fixed an issue causing temporary speed restrictions to appear on routes that do not have them implemented. Fixed an issue causing temporary speed restrictions to not appear when starting on foot. Fixed train fault UI so that it appears every time a fault is triggered. Fixed an issue causing temporary speed restrictions to not appear when starting a second or third service on the same session. Removed an Xbox sign-in prompt that was appearing on PS5. Various UI improvements. You know, this one I'm not quite so sure about, to be honest. Fixed a train fault UI so it appears every time a fault is triggered. Real-life train faults don't have something that happens. They just there's nothing pops up and says hi there, unless you've got a modern computerized train. So yesterday I was actually driving one of our locomotives and I was unable to close the cylinder cocks, and it turned out because my pump pressure was dropping, and it took a little while between myself, because I'm a fireman and I was given the opportunity to drive by my driver, and the driver, and we're just cracking our heads going, what's going on? And we realised the pump pressure was dropping and sorted it out. There's nothing popped up that said, hey, you've got a fault. We're just like, we've got a fault. And we just dealt with it. But anyway, let's keep on going. Riviera Line, Exeter to Plymouth and Paignton. Fixed the missing sea textures at Dawlish. So it's interesting to see missing sea textures. I want to see what this looks like now, because I thought it looked pretty good before. Weird. Fixed missing service names for Journey Mode on Xbox One and PS4. Get out, mate. Look, it really is time. If you're still on an Xbox One or a PS4, stick it on your Christmas list if you can. Lots of sales happening at the moment. Won't mention any brands. Fixed a missing fence panel at Dawlish that had previously been cut off. It was probably stolen by unfortunate youths. Fixed an incorrect duration for From the Beaches to Banks scenario. Fixed an issue causing the signaler objective to fail when using the controller shortcut button during the wave wall rescue scenario. Fixed the start marker for wave wall rescue at Lyra Depot. Fixed the hard hat collectible at Star Cross, so it's now collectible. There's a couple of things I really wish about the wave wall rescue. One is that we actually see the train get swamped, because that would be cool, and it's well within the realms of what Unreal can do, even if it's a cutscene. Cutscenes in Train Sim World. There you go, someone said it. The other thing I'd like is a daytime version of that scenario, because that's not that exciting at night time, honestly. Class 150 updated the brake rub sound so it's louder at a high speed and quieter at a low speed. Brake rub sounds. Rubbing one out, were we? Changed the duplicated service 2E29 to 5P31. Changed duplicated service 2C04 to 2T08 in journey mode. So they're not actually duplicated services as such, you just play the same service twice in journey mode. Fixed an issue with the door stuck train fault. Fixed an issue causing the AI Class 150s to use the wrong headlights. Class 52, separate add-on required to run on Rivi error. Fixed numbering on Class 52 Rail Tour and added the Western Champion nameplate. That's nice to have nameplates. Or headboards, as most people call them. Class 220 Voyager. Updated the left and right cab door to be locked by default. Now, this is actually the sneaky cause of the brakes getting stuck, in that they were not locked. That's the issue. Anyway, fixed an issue causing the emergency brakes to be applied when loading in a save. Tweaked the diesel engine stall fault issue so it doesn't appear as often. 19 times in one service. Bahnstreck Leipzig Dresden. Increased the draw distance from Oschatz and Dahlem. Added missing lettering to the roof of Niederwarther Hydro Power Plant. Replaced the yellow road markings with white at Engelsdorf. Improved clutter and foliage in bridge area around 26 kilometres into the route. Fixed an incorrect shelter light at the Engeldorf station. That should probably say took the tree out of the middle of the track. Fixed an issue with the Niederwarther Hydro Power Plant. Fixed an issue causing rain to fall through areas of cover at Meben. Fixed an issue causing passengers to clip into the platform and get stuck. Fixed an issue's passenger spawn point at Muckern. Fixed an issue causing players to get stuck when walking between tracks at Niederwarther. Fixed an area of darkness in the shelter at Dresden Freiburger Strasse. Fixed checkered texture issues near the segment sign at Neustadt. Fixed the draw distance at the footbridge of Priestwitz. Fixed an issue causing cars to spawn on the level crossing at Stretch. Fixed invalid signals for layered EZK 59421 service. Removed incorrect BIS display mount at Priestwit. I think that was floating from memory. Removed a tunnel placeholder at sign 52 near Leipzig. Localization improvements. DBBR 442 improved braking when driving from cab 1 to stop them from dragging. DBBR 294 added the brake apply sound, added the brake computer hum sound, added additional fan controller for the engine fan, added functionality to start the engine fan when the diesel engine is running, added animation to the fan section of the fan controller. Morristown Line, New York and Hoboken to Dover. Added better lighting across Morristown so there are less areas of severe darkness. Added air brake sounds to multi-level cab cars. Fixed an issue stopping announcements appearing in multiple platforms at Hoboken. Fixed an issue causing announcements to overlap at Mount Tabor. Fixed an issue causing the PIS to have low draw distance at close range. Fuzzy PIS. Fixed an issue causing passengers to get stuck at Highland Avenue. It was kind of funny with their head sticking out of the platform. Fixed snow textures around Maplewood and Denville during a snowstorm. Fixed a railing causing passengers to get stuck at Dover Station. Fixed areas of darkness in suburban areas near Dover. Fixed an issue with flickering gravel textures at Orange Station. Fixed grounded floating overhead line equipment poles at Chatham Station and Short Hills. Fixed a collision issue at Hoboken Terminal. Fixed an incorrect texture at Hoboken Terminal. Fixed a floating fence at Hoboken Terminal. I just like saying Hoboken Terminal. Removed an invisible wall that was appearing on the low-level cab cars, which may have been at Hoboken Terminal. New Jersey Transit Arrow 3 updated the light fuse issue to show on the Arrow 3, fixed an issue with the brake indicators not displaying properly, fixed an issue with the door stuck train fault, removed the ability to use the reset plug as it shouldn't be usable. You don't basically need it, it doesn't actually do anything. I don't know why they bothered taking it out, to be honest. ALP 46 added voltage change phase gap functionality. Updated the ALP 46 AI so they no longer have their headlights on when being trailed. Basically, those little plugs, just going back to the arrow, they're like the master key on the British things. So you pop in a little plug and it says, hey, I'm here, I'm a real driver. And the reset plug, from memory, there's only supposed to be one. So you pull your driver's plug out and you put it in the reset. So you shouldn't have both at once. ALP45DP replaced the incorrect ATC speed upgrade sound with an access system beep that's spelt wrong. Improved suspension physics. Making it more bouncy, no doubt. Fixed an issue causing the game to crash when restarting or loading a service. Fixed the brake indicator when the parking brake is applied. Fixed an issue that was causing the traction motors to cut out. Fixed an issue causing the traction lock to trigger when loading the Rosa rescue scenario from a previous save. Fixed a volume issue with the horn. Fixed an issue causing door stuck train fault to appear as this hasn't been added to the ALP45DP. Removed traction lock from triggering when using dynamic brakes. Fixed an issue stopping announcements from appearing on the BR411 services involving the Leipzig add-on from the original Dresden Riesa. In addition to above, they want to highlight for all platforms the free starter pack upgrade links. The free starter pack upgrade links for TSW6 bundles now linked to the correct store page with the correct price. Just on the free starter pack, it's only available until, I think it's the first week of November. So even if you choose not to install it for whatever reason, go and get it. Because if you don't go and get it for free while it's free on whatever platform you're on, or all of them, for example, I have Xbox on the S and the X. I've got the real game on the X, and I've installed the starter pack on the S. I've got a really old PS4. I've put it on that. And of course, I've got the real one on my PC. Go and do it, because the reason if you don't, if a route comes out in the future that you want, you'll be stuck behind a paywall because you'll actually have to pay for TSW6, whereas right now you can get it for nothing. Horseshoe Curve texture issues resolved. Clinchfield Railroad texture issues resolved, both on Xbox and... Alrighty, I think that's it for that one. No, there's still a bit more. It says, just to clarify, the Riviera Dawlish sea textures are still present on console. We are working to resolve this issue, but the textures are fixed on Steam. There you go. It's short for Harriet, apparently. Anyway, that's it for the article about the patch release. Just a note on Harry. I actually interviewed her quite extensively while I was in the UK, and it's going to take a little while to put that together, but she is going to be on the Right Way, Wrong Way Railway podcast at some point. But it's quite an interesting interview. It's got some very sensitive discussion on some sensitive issues for people, which is why it's going to take me a while to put it together, because I want to get it approved by Harry herself, but I also want to get it checked out from the perspective to make sure that we don't harm anybody. Alrighty, enjoy yourselves, have fun folks, and we shall see you later. Chuck your comments on the fixes down below. What do you think was missed? What do you think's important? What's still happening to you that is supposed to be fixed from this batch? Let me know in the comments. Always love to hear. And as always, I'm always happy to carry your feedback back through the ambassador channels as well. You can, of course, give your own feedback on the Discord, but I do know that sometimes our feedback can be a little more forceful because we have a different way of getting into DTG. Alrighty, have fun folks, enjoy yourselves, and see you later. Bye now.
We played a game.